Welcome to the Saints That Serve podcast,
where each week your hosts dive into the crossroads of faith,
culture,
and the unknown. Christ is Lord,
and the kingdom is now. We are the Saints That Serve.
Welcome to the Saints That Serve podcast.
The Saints That Serve podcast.
With your hosts.
Here's Johnny.
And
Jairus playing the sad Kingdom Hearts music.
We're going to get into it this week. We have a special guest, but we're going to wait and do our little announcements real quick, and then we're going to get into it with our special guest. So,
He's so special.
Super special. Announcements-wise, we're continuing with Pray For You Friday. So if you have any prayer requests, feel free to reach out to us. You can contact us at thesaintsthatserve@gmail.com, or you can reach us at any of our socials. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on Threads. And
we got an X account, and
X account.
we also have a Twitch account.
And a Twitch account. That's right. We just started doing Twitch. So reach out to us on any of those avenues. It's the Saints That Serve. For Facebook and Instagram, it's the Saints That Serve Pod, and then on X, it's STS Ministry.
Mm-hmm.
And then so just reach out to us with your prayer requests. We'd love to pray for you and with you. And then we're coming up already on Christmas, so we're going to be doing Christmas themed episodes. If you got anything you'd like us to hit, let us know. Also, we still are asking you what's your favorite Thanksgiving tradition. So make sure to reach out to us and send that info our way so that we can be entertaining for you all.
Eating all the food. Taking it all and not letting anybody else have any. That's my favorite tradition.
Really?
Yeah. Every year.
Impressive.
I'm the only one who's not hungry.
All righty. Well, we're going to go ahead and get into the show. When we have our guest today, he is a awesome brother in Jesus.
Yes.
And we are going to have you roll the D20 dice. It's right in front of you.
Mm-hmm, the tradition.
What's that?
It's
That one.
There you go. Go ahead and roll the dice.
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
What'd you get?
12.
12.
Okay.
21.
So not too high, but not too low. Just give us your name and your favorite kind of horse.
All right. My name is Dilon.
Hi, Dylan.
Hey,
Dylan.
How are you? Favorite horse?
Yeah. What's your favorite kind of horse?
I like a black stallion.
Mm.
A black stallion?
Yeah.
The Black Stallion.
That's impressive.
Does that mean you actually sat through the Black Stallion movie?
No, I didn't even know that was a movie.
Yeah, there's a movie called The Black Stallion.
No. I had a neighbor call me a stallion while trick-or-treating. So I was like, all right, cool.
What?
It's good.
That's kind of...
Nice.
All right. Well, there we go. So we're going to get into it. So, Tyler, this is our transition. We are moving into our first topic for the night. No, we're going to do our quiz.
Yes, we have a quiz. Oh, so we're transitioning into our quiz, not our topic.
Transitioning into our quiz, not our topic, Tyler. Okay. So, Taco Bell has always been a favorite for Jairus and I
Mm-hmm.
throughout the decades, because we've been around for decades.
Getting sitting on that toilet for hours because of Taco Bell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they're doing their Relive the Decades right now. If you
Mhm.
download their app, you can take a quiz, and then it will tell you what your order should be, right? Is that what you said?
It's going to be what from the decade they currently are doing. I guess they're doing it every week.
Yeah.
Right now it's the 60s.
Right now it's the 60s. Yeah.
What 60s Taco Bell food item you are.
Yeah. So
So a little side note, I went to try to get one of those stainless steel cups.
you can't.
You can't get them.
Yeah, it's so dumb. So mad.
Why?
The reason we downloaded the app and we got all hyped about this is they were rolling out stainless steel cups.
Yeah.
And each one, and they had different, themes for the different decades.
Yeah.
And the way it was presented was like, you can go and buy these. And then They roll it out and turns out it's a first come, first serve. If they're all gone, they're all gone.
Also, I think it's only in the app,
Only in the app.
and they only gave like 500 away.
So they're...
Yeah,
You literally had
super.
waiting on the app for midnight to roll around, and then you could.
Oh, man.
I was reading on Reddit like people complaining because it's like I would just buy this, just let us buy this, but
Yeah.
Taco Bell is only giving away really great merch through their drops,
Dang.
limited drops. And it's like you go look at their normal merch. It's like, yeah, this is all terrible merch.
Yeah.
I just want the cup and I want the old Taco Bell logo on a hoodie. Just give me that.
Yeah. So hopefully they'll come to their senses and realize they can make a lot more money if they would just dump it. But anyways,
And fire whoever's in charge of it right now
yeah.
and hire me and John. We'll work for your merch department.
There we go. Okay, so this is for the 60s.
Okay.
Okay. So the first question, how would you get to Taco Bell in the 60s? A, in the car I fixed up myself.
Ooh.
B, hitchhiking. Or C, my trusty bike.
Definitely C.
Trusty bike.
Definitely.
All right.
I think that's what I put too whenever I first did this.
See, for
So-
me in the 60s, going to Taco Bell, I would think it would be hitchhiking.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe that's too soon because the 70s is more of the hippie era, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the 70s would be more hitchhiking.
I don't know. Hitchhiking period just sounds like, nah.
Back then, though, sure.
No, but back then, yeah, hitchhiking was a lot more normal until we get into the 2000s.
Yeah.
And then people start getting
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Jeffrey Dahmer
Yeah.
on the streets.
Jeffrey
Yeah.
Dahmer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So, disclaimer, I took this quiz a couple of days ago, so I already have my answer. So,
All right, we'll go with trusty bike. Okay, ready? Rate this vibe on a scale of 1 to 10. All right, 1 to 10. What would you rate that?
describe the picture to our folks. listening at
It's
home.
a sombrero, and it's got like a licorice slide coming around it, and then a Taco Bell bell underneath it. And on the sombrero it says taco, and on the bell it says bell. And then it's the very top of a Taco Bell building with the actual iron bell, and then the 60s logo.
So this is it's a picture of Taco Bell in the 60s.
Yeah.
It almost looks like a wannabe like Mexican restaurant.
Which some could argue is what Taco Bell started out as, the fast food Mexican option.
I'm gonna give that a 5.
5.
5 out of 10.
Okay.
Central.
You're the guest. We'll go with 5.
Central.
All right.
20. That's the correct 20. It's a survey. It's not a quiz, but you just failed it.
All
right.
Man.
You're going to the drive-in. What are you seeing? A comedy, a horror movie, or a what is that? Is it a commercial or a?
That is
It looks like a salad.
That looks like a commercial for Taco Bell.
It's a commercial for Taco Bell. It doesn't actually say anything on it. So you're gonna go see a commercial for Taco Bell, or are you gonna go see a horror movie?
Let's put it this way: Are
comedy?
you there for the movie you're watching,
Yeah.
or are you there for the trailers? That's kind of what it's coming down to.
Yeah. But it's a drive-in. It's not a regular theater.
Drive-in? Man, I think I'd want it to be like horror, but I don't like horror movies. But it fits the vibe though.
It does. It does. And I'm going to go with that too, because the kind of movies that were horror movies when drive-in theaters were normal
We're cheesy
are
and
very cheesy.
and not in any way spiritually condemning.
Yes. Oppressive, spiritually oppressive.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah. All right.
Compromising.
Compromising here. Rank your top 5. The tostada, lava lamps, acting like the Taco Bell outdoor order window is a secret only you know, jukeboxes that only work when you kick them in the right spot, finding a hot sauce packet in your pocket.
So you got to rate those. Like you got to reorder those. Which one? Number 1 is 1, and then 5. So you got to rate all those in a certain order.
Man, so 1 is the best?
One is
Which one is number 1 for you? The tostada, the lava lamp,
Jukebox.
the jukebox is number 1.
Jukebox is number 1.
All right. What would you put as number 2?
Hot sauce in the pocket.
Hot sauce in the pocket.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 3,
Lava lamp.
lava lamp, tostada, or acting like the window. Which one's 4?
window and then tostada because I don't even know what tostada is.
It's probably like one of those
Okay.
weird. So, what is both of y'all's favorite Taco Bell menu item in general?
Chalupa.
Okay, right now, it is the breakfast Crunchwrap.
What?
Dude,
What?
it is on a sausage breakfast Crunchwrap
I forget they sell breakfast.
on another level. It's not every location.
Okay.
Not every location does breakfast. So if we're not doing breakfast, probably the cheesy bean burrito. No,
the
what is it?
5-layer
Yeah,
beefy burrito.
The
Yeah.
5-layer beefy burrito. Thank you.
So right now, I just kind of get some whatever
Mhm.
right now. But at one point, I would always go and get the steak quesarito.
Yeah.
It was a quesadilla and a burrito
Yeah.
mixed together with some steak.
Yep.
Mm.
hmm
But like, I was so annoyed because they slowly phased it out. Where it's like you could get it in store, you could order it, and then it became an app only menu item, and then it just was gone.
Dang.
They do that.
Now the beef chalupa with nacho cheese on it goes
Mm-hmm.
mint.
That sounds,
I don't know.
That sounds like a brown waterfall.
Oh, it is.
So, another item I really like is the, it's not really Taco Bell, but they're Taco Bell fries.
Yeah,
They're
those are good.
really good when
Those
you
are
dip them
good.
in their nacho cheese.
The nacho cheese
So-
french fries? Yeah.
It's so good.
Mhm.
All right. What is your ideal Taco Bell date? A shared tostada parked in the parking lot. We all know Dylan's not going to go for that one.
Because he doesn't even know what that is.
Or maybe he does. Maybe he's like, there we go. Now I know what a taco
Oh,
is.
because I'm now sharing it. I know what it is.
Chips and nacho cheese sauce while sitting on the same side of the Taco Bell picnic table.
Taco Bells have.
I don't like the same
tables?
side.
Not anymore.
Oh, they did in the 60s.
Yeah, they would have outdoor seating. Tacos in a booth with a white tablecloth and flowers.
Yeah.
It's not Taco Bell,
It was in the 60s.
apparently.
Yeah, definitely the tacos because I don't like the idea of sitting beside them.
Tacos in a booth.
Yeah.
You don't like sitting next to your significant other?
No, I like sitting
No,
across.
get
I
her,
like to see your
get
face.
her on the other side of the table.
I want to see your face.
And so whenever you were sitting in church, do you have her sit on the opposite side so you can see her face?
yeah.
Not next to you on the same like row of chairs.
Nah, not at all. Go across the sanctuary. I need to be able to see
I
you.
gotta see you, so I'm looking at the pastor and I'm looking at her.
Yeah.
The pastor, looking at her.
Oh man. No, we definitely sit right beside each other.
All right. So you are the Bell Burger.
The Bell Burger.
Whoa.
Bell
What is-
Burger.
What is the Bell Burger?
Yeah.
It just
I'm gonna
says,
Google that nonsense.
which 60s Taco Bell menu item are you? You are the Bell Burger.
I got the burrito, by the way.
That's because you're just an all-around wrap.
It's literally a Taco Bell hamburger,
Yeah.
What?
but it's instead of a hamburger, it is
It's a bun with taco stuff in it.
it's ground beef. And that looks delicious.
Oh, big loud.
This guy over here.
That-
Get it out of here.
That
the
is
test.
not me. I don't know. I want that. Bring that back. That looks good.
You can get that. It's called Del Taco.
Not
Yeah,
Taco.
it is.
No, I want it at Taco Bell.
Just they're right next to each other in the city that's close to us. Just go order it at one and then go next door to Taco Bell.
There you go.
All right. So
Oh.
that has been our Taco Bell quiz. So now we're going to get into the nitty gritty.
Mm-hmm.
So Tyler, we're transitioning into our next topic, which is going to be music history with Dylan.
Wow. So, Dylan,
But it's misleading.
Yeah.
It's not actual music history. It's what's your
history.
music history.
Oh man.
What's your history of music? But
did you-
first, what's your history? Who are you? Tell us about
Yeah.
yourself.
Man, I am a 25-year-old man who is saved by grace, finding myself leading in church. I am a welder by trade, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
Yep. I'm an aspiring husband. I'm a father,
Mhm.
young father. I have a lot of titles. There's a lot of titles to me.
Mm. And what is your relationship to us?
My relationship to you guys is I'm currently dating Johnny's sister.
Hey,
There we go. There it is.
Pressure's on.
Oh man.
Just kidding.
I thought you had a button for that.
No.
Yeah, me too. I was waiting for something.
I'm just saying, if things go wrong, then
I don't even need one punch.
One point.
yeah. Anyways, all right.
Oh man,
So yeah, you're head over heels for my sister.
I am.
Gross.
Yeah, that was a crazy way of putting it, but it's true.
You know what? You're gross.
I am. I'm a gross man. That's why I eat Taco Bell all the time.
I just eat Taco Bell so that I can sit on the toilet and know I'm still alive.
Is there any other place to eat besides Taco Bell? Not for me.
Dang.
By the way we talk about on this show, everybody's going to think we're like all 500 pounds.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm 450. Calm down.
I've been working it off. All right. So you're related to us via my sister. You like her a lot.
Yeah.
Someone even used the word love.
Yeah.
Well,
we know
that's just
that
gross.
it's not in your vocabulary.
Correct.
But anyways, we're getting to know you. You're getting to know us. And we found out that you really like music.
I do.
And you create music.
I do.
So get us into that. What started your motivation to get into music? What really hit it for you? Like, dude, I love doing this.
So I realized I liked music when I was younger, but I didn't. It was a spiritual thing because kids tend to be hyper spiritual without always realizing it. But I always felt like there were monsters, right? And so if I was scared of monsters, I would sing.
Okay.
I would just come up with songs, and the monsters would go away. And I'd the dark, going in the garage, stuff like that, the basement. I'd sing, they go away. And as I got older, iPod touches came out, and then there were these apps where you could loop beats and stuff, and I would just do that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know, but I was freestyling all the time on how to make BLTs and stuff like that. And I'd have my brother
Bacon, lettuce, tomatoes,
yeah,
sandwiches.
bacon, lettuce, tomatoes.
What is BLT?
yeah, bacon, lettuce, tomato.
Cool.
Sandwich, yeah.
You're making a sandwich and you're rapping while you're making it because you're listening to music.
Yeah.
Okay. You had us going for a loop there, like there's some sort of special.
I thought that was like a
music
file
loop.
No.
type or something like that. I'm glad I wasn't the only one.
I would make songs for everything I did. I remember being on the playground and beatboxing and coming up with songs I still have in my head today.
What going down the slide? What
Yeah.
swinging on the swing? What
Yeah, kind of like that, but not that.
Not that bad.
Yeah, but I listened to Justin Timberlake growing up, so it was more like heartfelt, sing-songy, aha type songs. Yeah. My mom listened to the Osmond Family, if you know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
It's the
Danny Osmond and whatnot.
Donny Osmond.
Donnie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy Danny, right?
Danny. One bad apple don't spoil the whole bunch, girl.
Wow.
Copyright strike.
No, I don't know.
That's a copyright strike.
No, Jairus and I, our music, we like music is very, very staple, basic. We don't really like
Soulja Boy?
anything no, ironically, actually, we're not into rap. Not that it's bad. I'm just saying that it's not our go-to.
I discovered rap at 15.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I had to hide it from my mom. I didn't know it was illegal, but I would just download songs off the internet through these websites that are really shady.
You got right there on that LimeWire.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. LimeWire.
I didn't know it was not legal.
The virus machine.
Dude, okay, but you got to understand. For us, when we were in middle school, high school, is right when MP3s started being a thing.
Oh.
And so iTunes was, you would take your CD, you'd bring it home, you'd download it onto iTunes, and then you could burn other CDs. You could put it on your MP3 player or your iPod.
Yeah.
But you could also burn CDs.
Make your own mixtape.
And make your own
we're
mixtape.
that generation of MP3, on the tail end of CDs, really. And then the beginning of MP3 players was our generation.
Yeah, that was our high school experience, was getting MP3 players for the first time and making your own mixtapes on CDs.
But not anything fancy like an iPod Touch or anything like that. Yeah. Those weren't around. It was like those really cheap, really oddly shaped MP3 players.
The wheel.
With the wheel or weird buttons on it.
Was it a status thing? Was it check out my mixtape.
A status was if you had the actual iPod with the screen.
Oh, really?
That was like, okay, your family's got money.
Yeah.
That was it. It was either that was your status. Everyone else had just the off-brand, like.
Yeah, I had one of those. Yeah.
I had an iPod Touch. I used it for the longest time.
Whoa!
I sold it to you. You remember?
Oh yeah, you did sell it to me.
Yeah. Then you gave it to your sister.
And then I gave it to her. Yeah.
Oh man, I broke mine. I took it apart. I wanted to see how it worked, and I could
and then you
back
couldn't get it to work.
Yep.
Well, now we gotta erase this episode and start all over. I'm
My-
gonna come after you.
My first big. So I'm gonna say this. My first big MP3 player, like within that, I had a cheap little one, and then I had a Zune.
What is that?
Oh yeah, dude. Soon.
So Microsoft tried. So you had the iPod, iPod, right? It was just an iPod.
Yeah, iPod.
So had the iPod, and Microsoft made their competitor to the iPod called the Zune. It didn't last long.
Yeah, it was
So after that kind of went obsolete, I then got an iPod Touch.
Dang.
Yeah, it was just because they weren't selling them. It wasn't that it was a bad player. It was just that they couldn't compete.
Mm-hmm.
It was like maybe
Yeah, it was almost looked like a pager. It was narrow, and the screen was kind of more horizontal, like a rectangle.
Yeah.
and the screen on it was small. It was very thick for something that was supposed to go in your pocket and play music.
Crazy times.
So revolutionary, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Innovative.
Yeah, that's true. We were talking about that today. Okay, so we all know everything that's going on in the Middle East with Israel and all that. So maybe it was like a month or two ago.
That's a Zune. Yeah.
We'll post a picture of a Zune on the Instagram for you guys so you can just have a blast of the past with us. But anyways, so they were talking about the strategic attacks where everyone's landlines or their pagers were going off, like exploding all at once to eliminate communication and stuff. And they're like, it was a targeted attack, this, that, and the other. And as an American, like, my shock was not in that there was a strategic attack against Iran and other countries. Mm-hmm. My shock was that they're still using pagers in the Middle East. When this came out, they're like, everyone's pagers exploded. I was like, wait a minute. Pagers? Who does that? And apparently it's still a thing over there.
My neighbor, he has an iPod mini. He's a loser. I have a regular iPod.
Yeah, dude, it was so funny because I'm like looking back, I'm reflecting on it. I'm like, dude, I wasn't in shock from people's hands getting like 3rd-degree burns from their pager exploding. I was blown away that they had a pager to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Unreal. But anyways, okay, so you really got into music, kind of more in touch with the spiritual side.
Yeah.
So you
singing
started
away to all those
singing,
monsters.
Yeah, you started singing the demons out the door.
Yeah.
And then you started getting technology as you get older, and you start creating beats.
Yeah.
And singing to those or freestyling to those, and then writing. Okay, cool. So where are you at today?
Today, I am recovering getting back into music because I made music into my adult years and high school years, but it was with a group of friends that had shared same interest.
Okay.
We fell apart for one reason or the other, and I started doing it on my own, and I was like falling into these heavy spiritual attacks, like things visiting me, like promising X, Y, and Z, and I was just like, whoa. So, and I wasn't really walking with the Lord, but I knew God.
Yeah.
I sold everything I had. I just sold everything I had. And then I get back into music a couple years later, and this is a year ago now. And I have a new heart, new mind, and I started making music again. But I noticed that like I don't have the same like ambition and drive towards it.
Mm-hmm.
It's really weird. But I learned too. I was allowing certain influences to kind of push me forward and give me that energy.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's just like a side hobby. Like, it's so weird how it used to be my world. Like, that's who I was. That's what I did.
Yeah.
Now it's like, it's something I do when I do it, but I still want to like post, and I don't have any social media. So I'm going to make accounts this upcoming year. I'm going to do all that, but it's not the same. It's so weird, but
okay.
I like making music now that, is more encouraging, you know. Before it was just like, wah, I'm Dilon. Wah.
Yeah,
You know?
borderline emo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was trash. It was garbage.
Going back to like me and Johnny's history within making stuff, it's like there were those lulls of us making stuff, and it only recently clicked of like, this is what we should be doing when it was about God.
Yeah.
Yeah, putting God first within the thing you are creating.
Yeah.
Yeah, we I also was into music growing up. I don't know if you knew this about me, but I did I was in bands.
Yeah.
I had music. I had a drum set at one point, and keys and guitars and bass, and so we were playing music.
Grande del Tortuga.
Yeah,
Grande.
I was actually queuing it up. I've got it right here. So
let's do it.
this is the only song that I did that like was recorded and made it to the internet.
Yeah.
Okay, and it was so.
Hold on, I want to make sure it's not too.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm going to bring it low just in case. Start it.
So this is me, the band that I was in for like 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that?
We're gonna stop it right there. But oh no, it's going.
It's Tortuga Turtle?
Yeah,
Big turtle?
Yeah, Grande Tortuga is big turtle.
That's all he's singing about is a big turtle.
A big turtle.
I like that.
But that was like okay, so I was a part of this band. We were like, let's get serious. And we get together, and for the first time, we're doing a recording, practicing using our recording equipment. So we're just messing around, and that's what we do. We just have a drop. Everybody's doing their own thing. We're not like communicating in any way. Everyone's doing their own thing, and then I start singing that. Cut it. Don't edit the recording or anything. They just uploaded it to Facebook.
It's really funny how chaotic you're telling that story, and how, though that sounds bad, don't get me wrong, how well put together it actually does sound like y'all are trying.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so we did actually write a song, and it was pretty good, but I have no idea where it is. So the guy it was our guitarist, he was the one who was doing all the recording. I don't know what he did with it, so whatever. But
well, if you're listening, go ahead and send that our way.
Yeah, I doubt he's listening, but
if he is,
but if
you
he
are,
is, and you still have it, send it my way. Yeah, so we did that, and I was in another band, and I did some solo stuff. So like I'd play at coffee shops, and we did a battle of the bands one time, and we played at a local venue a couple of times, and yeah, I just got tired of doing it.
Yeah.
So I just stopped because it was like some of the relationships that I had in music started getting really emotional, and like girls and divisions and all that crap, and so I just stopped. And then when I started getting serious with the Lord, I started getting back into worship. And so I started writing worship music and playing, and I was really involved in the missions base I was at for YWAM. We've talked about that before. And so I did a lot there. Then I come home. I do a lot of worship stuff with the youth group that Jairus and I are leaders in. And we try and get our band up and running, and we try and get them. It's 100% youth led, and they're serious. And if I have to jump on the guitar, I jump in and play the guitar. And then it kind of, when we stepped down from youth ministry, that's when it kind of started trickling back where I'm at now, where I'm not really doing anything music wise, but it's always been there, and similar to you, it's always kind of been there. It just comes and goes, ebbs and flows. So yeah.
Like I go through creative bursts where I'll just make like 4 songs in a month or 2.
Yeah.
And then the next 5 months, nothing. Or 3 months, nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I do have a song that I wrote probably a year ago. We'll upload it to the podcast, and people can just listen to it as an episode.
Just as an individual song.
Yeah, just an individual song, because it's a good song about, it's a good worship song, like praising the Lord. But whatever,
Yeah.
do whatever.
I'll have to send you some of my music.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, what is
You need to send.
Yeah, send us a song and we'll like stick it on the back end of the episode or something.
If you can create a closer for us, we will use it as a closer. Because right now, like we were talking about earlier, all we have is just AI generated stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to be a part of the Saints That Serve, you can.
Well, my buddy, he is a producer.
No,
No,
you.
just you.
Just you.
Okay. my bad.
Yeah, just you.
That's
All
on
right.
me.
So what are you listening to right now? What's your go-to? Like, what's your comfort music right now?
Modern classical and synthwave. But if you're talking about lyrics, I've been trying to listen to worship music just because I'm entering that space at the church, but it's just not my go-to. I don't know how to explain it. Like I like Lecrae and Holvey, all the like Christian rap artists.
Yeah.
And I'm just now only discovering the world of indie spiritual music, and that it's actually good, that there are actually good artists.
We know a indie Christian artist.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give a little shout out to Ezra Jacob.
Yeah.
If you like indie music, he's a Christian guy and he writes Christian indie music.
He
His
does.
music is good.
Yeah, it's all right.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't go that far.
Good enough to give a shout out. I don't know.
Shots
I'll
fired.
say his name.
Yeah. I'll bring it up, but no. All right, cool. So you kind of got a couple of different genres there. Modern classical, synthwave,
Yeah.
and then on the Christian side, you're into some of the Christian rap and then some Christian indie. Okay. Jairus, where are you at? What's your comfort music right now?
I was actually going through my music right now, just kind of looking at what I've listened to recently. I've got some Daft Punk in here. Like,
yeah.
I like some Daft Punk. That's not Daft
That's
Punk.
not Daft Punk.
That's not Daft Punk at all. I got Weezer in here, 21 Pilots,
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
some Creepy Nuts.
What?
Okay, hold on. I got to talk about Creepy Nuts.
Yeah.
Here's an idea. Aliens.
Yes. Actually, hold on. So we're going to get off of music for 2 seconds.
Okay.
Me and my wife are really into this anime right now called Dandadan.
Yeah.
They made the theme song to Dandadan. Yeah, anime. And you might have heard their other song that's really big, that has been really big on like TikTok and Instagram reels and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the opening to Mashal, which is a parody of Harry Potter and One Punch Man if it was combined.
Yeah.
So it's about like this guy who has no magic and he's just full buff. And so like in this world of like Harry Potter world magic stuff, and the society in the world is all about like your status is how much magic you have.
Yeah.
And so he goes into the Hogwarts-esque school with no magic and he has to survive, but it's comedy in the way that like when he tries to like, they're like in the broom class, like the flying the witch broom or whatever. To get it, like you're supposed to command it up, he just hits the ground with his foot really hard and it bounces up and he catches it. Then it's like to fly, he just jumps really hard and he just like is floating, like jumping from pillar to pillar. And they're like, no, you got to stay in one place. So he kicks his legs really hard and just floats. It's really funny comedy. But the second season of that, their Creepy Nuts did the song for that as well. And it slaps.
Yeah.
To use Jin whatever.
It slaps.
It slaps, that's terminology.
Yeah. That's
But
cool.
anyways, so
That's
yeah.
along the lines of our comic book idea.
Yeah, it kind of honestly is.
We really need to just buckle down
And work on
and produce that.
AJ.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What?
We came up with a comic book idea, and we'll go ahead and spoil the premise of it because,
Why not?
Why not? But the idea is that a catastrophe hits the earth,
Mm-hmm.
and 1/3 of the population's wiped out.
Wow.
1/3 of the population, nothing happens to them. And then the final third, they all get superhuman abilities.
Oh.
So it's literally the population decreases drastically, and then 50% of everyone now has superpowers,
Yeah.
which kind of makes it so like, since so many people have them, there's nothing special about it.
Yeah.
But, it's the psychological, I've got powers, so I'm all this. So the idea is that in this world, there's super villains and there's superheroes, but the superheroes are so convoluted, like, oh, I'm all that they don't really actually help out a whole lot because they're so consumed with what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And the villains are so puffed up. They're like, I'm a big bad guy. Nobody can stop me. And so the hero is just a guy that has basic military training, no superpowers. And he goes in and he stops these supervillains because he lets them go into dialogue and he lets them do their things. And then he just stops them. And then
Go into dialogue.
and people, and then the superheroes that are kind of around in his sphere that, partner with him or do other things, they more so get in the way rather than help.
Mm-hmm.
So he has to work around the heroes to be able to stop the villains.
Man.
So it's a 100% comedic.
Yeah, it sounds like comedy.
Yeah.
But
We came up with some really funny characters. Heat lightning. Yeah, one guy is essentially the Flash.
Yeah.
Super fast. He goes so fast that he creates lightning as he's running,
Yeah.
moving. And whenever he shows up, he just shouts his superhero name, which is Heat Lightning. It does not matter what the scenario is, where he's going. When he stops running,
Heat lightning.
yeah.
He's got a cameo everywhere he goes.
Yeah. And one of our main villains was called Abracadaver. And he's just a guy that's like,
he's a magician.
he's obsessed with being a magician.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Abracadaver.
Abracadaver. That's
So-
crazy.
yeah, we have some pretty.
We got some hits. We got some great ideas.
What was the baby one? Do you remember what it was?
I don't.
One of them was like, it's like a super duper strong individual
Mhm.
that's super big, but it's a baby. So
It's goo goo gaga.
yeah. It's like super deep voice, super jacked, but you like it. The face, it looks like a baby.
Baby face.
It's got a diaper on and it's just walking around doing baby
Yeah,
stuff.
that's bonkers.
So it was a pretty funny idea. But
Babyface death punch.
yeah, maybe one day we'll get around to it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
If anybody's out there interested in drawing panels for our comic, reach out.
Yeah.
Pretty good drawing.
Oh, really?
Oh.
A man of many talents over here.
Hey.
There you go.
Some may say that you're as talented as Pedro.
Who?
Anyways, all right, cool. So, do you have any instruments that you like to play?
My vocal cords
Okay, fair enough.
and my computer.
The mandolin. You play the mandolin as well, right?
The MIDI board?
The MIDI board?
The MIDI board.
Cool. Oh, yeah, I forgot to tell them what I'm listening to right now. All right, so right now I am listening to, it's a very specific but broad genre, ambient music. All right, so you can,
Yeah.
anyone can go right now to YouTube and type in whatever ambient music, and there will be a long form playlist for that, or a long form video. So I like to go and play like Lord of the Rings ambient music, and it'll be like a 3-hour thing for the Rohirrim or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I listen to that a lot, and then
It's the same kind of stuff they like play. Like it's just a bunch of hums and stuff like that. Like that they play at churches and stuff like during worship, right? Like
it's
like,
there's no vocals. It's just the instrumental,
Mhm.
and they mix in. Excuse me, they mix in things like wind gushing or birds chirping.
Oh, okay.
or-
Then not what I'm thinking
they
of.
add stuff to it to mask the loop, because ultimately it's looped because
Mhm.
you're taking a song that's 10 minutes or 5 minutes and you're stretching it out 3 hours.
Yeah.
So they mix in different parts of the song at different points. They add in other music. It's just really good for I want something playing in the background while I'm doing something.
So I'll come in on this, like come for a recording to the studio,
Yeah.
and that's what he'll have playing.
Yeah.
He'll just be so engrossed into it over his laptop, like, we're studying you.
Yeah.
And it'll just be like the weirdest like sounds coming from his computer.
Yeah. The other night it was like a space banjo or something like that.
Well, that's how it is with
Yeah.
classical music for me. I just turn it on, have it on.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. And then the other thing that's a regular for our house, because I've got 3 boys that are under 10 and I'm trying to heavily influence them.
Coco Melon.
No,
Not Coco Melon.
no, we listen to a lot of heavy metal,
Mm.
but all artists I listen to are Christian. So I'm not listening to any of the worldly stuff out there. So like we're listening to stuff. Well, I take that back. So most of the stuff is Christian. And then there's a couple of, it's fantasy themed metal. Yeah. So there's like Dwarf Metal is one of them. Windrose, if anyone wants to look that band up. All their music, it's heavy metal music, but it's all different stories about dwarves, like Lord of the Rings dwarves. And the other one is called Glory Hammer, and it's all space sci-fi, like fantasy space. It's pretty entertaining to listen to. But outside of that, it's your regulars like Sleeping Giant, Devil Wears Prada, August Burns Red, Chariot, like all these like Holy Name is a newer one. I don't know if you guys probably don't listen to that. Holy Name, the guitarist from Korn, started this band after he got saved.
Korn was a K?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
As in the like really grungy, really worldly.
I know Korn.
Metal band. Yeah. So the guitarist, when he got saved.
I didn't know that.
He got saved and he just got nuts for Jesus. So he's been doing a lot of stuff for that, evangelical stuff for that. He still plays with Korn and they go out. And I think a couple more of the band members are saved now as well.
Word.
But he started another band called Holy Name. And so he does music with them.
It's pretty solid.
So it's pretty awesome. And that's the beauty of the gospel is that when one person believes and receives the forgiveness in Christ, all of heaven rejoices and celebrates. And we talked about that when Janelle came on with evangelism. Like the numbers do not matter. What matters is that people are actually getting saved. That's what God's after. And two, I mean, when you get saved, it's a radical transformation. Like nobody's out here saying like, yeah, I believe in Jesus now. And then they make no adjustments in their life.
Yeah.
It is, they believe in Christ and then things start drastically changing. And that's where we get the idea of the fruit. Like you can tell someone has transformed and is now a believer by the changes in their life that just naturally come from salvation.
Amen,
right?
dude.
And so that's why it's so important when you get saved to find a godly community of people, a godly church who's desperately seeking after Christ, so that your changes will be expedited. Like you'll be able to grow in the Lord and continue to grow and not hit a stopping point and get complacent and feel blocked and all that stuff. So that's why it's so important for churches. I'm calling you out. Be a church that new believers can come to and grow. Don't be a church that's focused with just baby food. You need to be a place that whether they've been a believer for 20 years or they've been a believer for 20 minutes, they can come in and they can grow and get closer to the Lord. So, all right, cool.
So real quick, everybody name a band recommendation or a musician or just, artist.
I'm going to go with that. I think that if you like rock, even if you don't like heavy metal, Holy Name, just check them out. They're great for rock, heavy metal, screamo. They cover all the bases. Just go give them a try. Holy Name.
Holy Name. What about you, Dylan?
I like Beach Chapel.
Beach Chapel.
Beach Chapel.
I guess
Killer, Swim, 2 excellent songs.
You know what? I'm also going to throw out Ezra Jacob. Go check out Ezra Jacob. He just came out with a new song.
Shut up.
Nice.
I chopped myself out, but I don't have anything dropped yet. So
You can hit us up, Saints that Serve, our hit single, Grande Tortuga. No.
Half Alive is a good.
I've heard of that.
They are a good. They're not quite Christian in their themes, but they are Christians making music.
There we go.
So they sound, they're not anything in it that's going to be compromising.
Explicit themes and stuff.
And on that note, Tyler, we're going to make a transition into another mini game. All right. So Dylan, this one is, Jair's is going to play, but it's primarily for you. Okay.
Let me tell you how excited John has been. Like 4 weeks after he came up with this, and he just nonstop like, man, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to play this game. I am so excited to play this.
Okay, what do you know about the band Creed?
Little to nothing.
Perfect. Okay.
What?
This is great.
So everyone, when Creed became popular, everyone assumed they were a Christian band.
Yeah.
But except the band. They were like, wait a minute. We're not Christian. We're a rock band, and we like everything that comes with being a rock and roll band.
Yeah.
And so they complained to the singer because he was kind of writing the songs.
Yeah.
And they were like, dude, what? Everyone thinks we're Christian, and we're not. Because not all their songs were Christian,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of
There's a lot of, in the lyrics, there's a lot of theming and wording that would make you think they're Christian, but they are not.
They are not.
That's interesting.
So, so that's why the game is called Creed or Christian. I'm going to read you a lyric from a song from the early 2000s. Okay.
Okay.
And you're going to tell me whether it is a Creed song or it is a other Christian band from the same time.
Easy.
Okay.
You got this.
All right. First one. You're going to go first, and then Jairus will go, and then we'll give the answer. Okay. All right. Number one. Hello, my friend. We meet again. It's been a while. Where should we begin? Feels like forever. Within my heart are memories of perfect love you gave to me. Oh, I remember. Is that Creed or is that Christian?
That's Creed.
Jairus?
I'm going to say that is Creed.
That is Creed. The
Yeah.
song is My Sacrifice.
My sacrifice.
All right. You ready for number two?
Yeah.
Okay. Pardon me, your epidermis is showing. Sir, I couldn't help but note your shade of melanin. I tip my hat to the colorful arrangement because I see the beauty in the tones of our skin.
Yo.
Is that Creed or is that Christian?
Yo, I got to process the words. Hold up. The way you looked at me and I looked at you. Dude, I have no clue. That was crazy.
You don't have to. It's one or the other.
Yeah, let's just say Christian.
50 chance.
Let's say Christian.
I'm saying Christian as well.
You're right. It is Christian. It is DC Talk.
That's
And the
DC
song-
Talk?
And the song is Colored People.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't that like pre-Newsboys, DC Talk?
Yeah. Well, no.
Before they had Tate?
Yeah. Before they had Tate. Tate was in DC Talk, and then he was single for a little while, and then he got into Newsboys.
Okay.
But Newsboys was around same time as DC Talk.
Okay, because I know like the Newsboys' previous lead singer like fell off, like lost faith and all that. There was a movie or something.
Yeah, we saw Newsboys live.
We did. We went and saw it with Tate.
Mm.
Yeah. And the drummer doing the whole playing upside down,
Yeah.
the rotating.
Yeah, that was wild.
That was
Yeah.
pretty crazy.
We
all right.
brought, it was like a free concert at the
Christian
fair,
concert. Yeah. At the fairground.
and we took the youth.
And we took the youth group there. Yep.
Solid.
We did with our youth group, because it wasn't a massive one, talking about like 20, 30 kids. We did a lot of stuff with them.
Field trips.
We went to the safari, the
Like
Georgia
drive-through
safari. Like you drive around
Yeah.
and the animals can stick their head in
Yeah.
the car. Yeah.
I have a funny story to tell about that, but we'll tell it later. I don't want to give us too off track. So remind me, I'll tell a story about the wild animal safari.
Okay, perfect. All right. Question number 3, The peace is dead in my soul. I have blamed the reasons for my intentions poor. Yes, I'm the only one who would carry on this far.
Creed.
Creed?
I'm going to say Creed.
That's right. Creed.
Dude, is that 3 for
Torn.
3?
That's
That's
three
three
for
for
three so far.
I'm impressed. All right. Court is in session. A verdict is in. No appeal on the docket today, just my own sin. The walls cold and pale, the cage made of steel. Screams fill the room. Alone I drop and kneel. Is that Creed or is that Christian?
That's Creed.
That's Creed.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys are killing it.
Should have been dead on the Sunday.
Yeah, I knew.
I don't know the song.
I know that song. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, this one's a really easy one. Lord of all creation of water, earth, and sky, the heavens are your tabernacle. Glory to the Lord on high.
Yeah, it's going to be Christian.
That's Creed.
No, that's Christian.
Yeah, I want to be different here. We got to break the tie.
I was about to say, if that is Creed, I see what the other guys were like complaining about.
That
Like, hey, bro.
That is Third Day.
Really?
God of Wonders. Did you not know that?
No,
Do you know Third Day?
I believe so. I didn't.
That's like their top song.
Really?
Yeah, God of Wonders.
Yeah, I had to break that tie. We have to have a clear winner.
I gotcha.
So,
Okay, number 6. Despite the lies that you're making, your love is mine for the taking. My love is just waiting to turn your tears to roses.
That's Creed.
that's Creed.
You're both wrong.
No way.
That is Skillet, Whispers in the Dark.
Oh man, I forgot
I
about
always
Skillet.
forget about Skillet.
Yeah.
Skillet.
Ah.
The lethal killer. All right.
I feel like a monster.
Anyways. All right, here's the last one.
Creed.
Please come now. I think I'm falling. I'm holding on to all I think is safe. It seems I found the road to nowhere and I'm trying to escape. I yelled back when I heard thunder, but I'm down to one last breath. And with it, let me say.
Christian.
Okay?
I'm sorry, you're wrong. That's Creed.
That is Creed.
Creed.
Yeah, last breath.
Man.
Hold me now.
Wait, that's Creed?
I'm 6 feet on the edge and I'm thinking.
I didn't know that was Creed.
Yeah.
I love that. We listen to that song at work.
My goodness. So we're tied.
We're tied.
We need a quick tiebreaker.
Pretty good.
Quick, name one Creed song. If you can't do it, I win.
Yeah, nope. Not at
My
all.
prison. There. Boom, I win. No.
All right. So that's it. So you want to give your story real quick?
My
The
story.
safari story?
Oh, yeah. Mhm. So we were talking about the wild animal safari. My grandmother took me and my brother to that way back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And as we are going through it, again, like you said, animals come up to the windows and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother's driving our van. Like it was a big old, like one of those family vans.
Yeah, it was a travel van.
Yeah, travel van. That's it.
Not transit. I know people will go transit. It was a travel van.
Travel van. Had a TV in it, the back seat in the back laid down
Sick.
into a bed, all this stuff.
Yep.
So we were going through that. My brother was in the front seat, my grandmother was driving, and I was in the back. And the back had this little pull open window.
Yeah.
So like it wasn't an actual window. So like the animals were sticking their tongues through that, like trying to like get the food and whatnot. So my brother is like filming going through this. And he's back there filming me feeding like a donkey or a giraffe or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And my brother turns around and there's an ostrich right in his face. And my brother screams like a little girl. Screaming so loud. And to this day, my brother has the biggest irrational fear of ostriches.
Really?
Yeah, because of that.
Wow.
Dude, that's so funny.
Wow.
Like you go anywhere that like a petting zoo or whatever, he will not even go.
Really?
Yeah.
Just because he's afraid of
He has a ridiculous
You should
irrational
take him-
fear of ostriches.
Take him back to the safari and let him like
He
immersion
won't
therapy.
go. He won't go.
Immersion therapy, like
trick him.
He won't go.
no, they have to be willing.
100% he will not go.
Man, that's a good fear though.
Bring it to him.
Bring
bring
him
it
an
to him.
ostrich.
Just bring an ostrich, put it outside in front of his door, and then he walks out on his way to work in the morning and just there's an ostrich just sitting in the front yard. Fun fact for everybody: the painting in the studio of the two wolves that is from that safari.
Oh,
really?
It is, isn't it?
They had it in the gift shop. And we
Oh,
bought it.
sweet.
Because we went
As a
back with
moment.
the youth group.
Yeah, when we went, it was with the youth group, and we bought that as a memento, and we put it in the youth room.
Nice.
And then when we stepped down, we took the.
Shh, don't do
Dang.
it. It's a pretty dope. It's like a cloth thing, right?
Yeah, it's cloth, so it's like
It's solid.
it onto cloth. It's not a canvas.
It's solid.
Pretty interesting.
I noticed it as soon as I got in too. I like that type of thing.
And yeah, if you start tuning into our live streams when we start doing that, you can see those.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you've tuned into the one that we've previously done,
Right.
you'll have seen it. If not, just keep on tuning in. We will be doing regular live streams.
Right.
We didn't really make an announcement about that, but
Here it is right now.
if you follow us on Twitch, you'll be able to know when we're streaming because we'll be doing it a lot.
That's right.
Won't necessarily be an event though.
Mm-hmm.
It'll just be kind of happening
That's gonna be nice though. It's gonna be real nice.
organically. And then we got our other painting in here.
which I'm going to take that home with me.
No, you're not. This is my $6 Goodwill purchase, and nobody's taking it.
When me and my wife went to Japan, I took that picture
Dang.
with my phone. We went in the middle of summer.
What, you got that Android?
Yeah, that's what it looked like, right? Just so y'all know, it's a really, really blurry painting.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Androids, right?
Yeah, am I right?
Yep.
All right. For all those Android people out there.
Looks to me like you're on the wrong side of the river.
Side story. I had never had like the most recent phone, like most of my life. And then when I was like, I think 21, I bought the most recent iPhone, or whichever one had the 3 cameras, whichever the first one was.
That was the 10, I believe.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I got it, and I would go around to all my friends and be like, hey, man, how many cameras do you have on your phone? They'd be like, 2. I'd be like, broke.
Rope.
Yeah, see, I got 3 cameras. You got 2? Broke.
Wow.
Look at my phone.
I've got
Can knocked over.
3 cameras.
Okay, yeah, I got 3 too. I got that ultra protection.
Oh, wow.
You like that? Like,
A little
Wow.
shade. Oh.
So if you see any cryptids out in the wild, you're going to have to like work to get that.
yeah, I'm gonna be like,
Yeah. Okay. So this is what we learned. If you're trying to get camera or video documentation, you can't use your phone,
No.
because we found the picture that I took to
Yeah.
try and prove lasers in the sky.
So a few weeks
cannot tell.
a few weeks ago, we talked about Johnny trying to get a picture of something he saw weird in the sky
Mhm.
flying through.
yeah,
Mhm.
He's like, I can't find the picture. The government deleted it.
no.
All that stuff. He found it. It's you can't tell what's going on in that
Do
picture.
this.
I know what's happening in it, but it's not.
I took that of the stars with this phone.
Okay, but this is what I'm saying is, if you've got 2 lights, think of like a bulb, like a 4-foot long, like LED bulb.
Yeah,
Okay, that's green.
yeah,
Now take 2 of those and just have them shoot through the sky.
yeah.
All right. They're going through the sky. They're like not like darting super fast, but they are moving.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it's dark outside. You're trying to pull your camera out, get a picture of it moving while you're holding a small child in your arms.
Can't do it because you
While
need.
you're
long
talking to your
exposure.
wife about it happening. It just came out really blurry.
Yeah,
So
Yeah, usually that's
yeah.
yeah. It needs to be a long exposure, and you need to hold still. And
Exactly. When it's a night photo, it just does not.
sounds like the
work out.
excuses of a man who's been proven wrong.
dang.
Yeah.
Me personally, I would take that.
You wouldn't take
Wouldn't
it?
take that.
Oh, someone who's been proven wrong?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep. Maybe. I don't know. Where are we going with that?
I have no idea. I told my story. We played the game, talked about music. All right, Tyler, this is your transition.
Yeah. All right, Tyler, this is your transition. So we're going to talk real quick. Since we've been talking about music, let's talk about kind of on the outside looking in, what do we consider the spiritual kind of, how did I word it? The spiritual strongholds in the music community. So you've got some experience with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we all kind of know what's been going on in the news cycle with big musicians and kind of like the dark side of it, what they're doing and all that stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
kind of what's your thoughts on what are some strongholds that are happening in the music community, and how as Christians do you think is a good way to combat those?
Ooh, I have so much on that.
Just don't go to a party held by a guy whose name starts with the letter P.
And ends with a diddy.
Yeah, no diddy, dude. No diddy. Man, I have so much on. I can give you my experiences and what I saw and how I see whatever you hear in the news kind of like translate from small scale to grand scale.
Okay.
Like, so I used to like freestyle a lot, and that was like how I got my cadence for the song, or whatever.
Okay.
I wouldn't always have words, but whenever I found that the more substances that I indulged in, the more lyrics just came out, and I didn't have to like try.
Hmm.
And it was fire, right? There were some that were just good, and I had just learned that certain amounts of substances were what I needed.
Yeah.
And then I would literally feel like presences giving me information. And and this is all hindsight, right? Like in the moment, I didn't really know. Like I was just getting into it, and I see how I mean, Satan was the worship leader, right? Like music was his thing. The Bible describes him as made up of instruments, right? Just a beautiful angel. Am I wrong?
I don't know if it describes him as being made up of instruments, but I get where you're going with it.
Yeah. But nonetheless, so I think it was C.S. Lewis had a quote, or some good Christian author had a quote, but like, what if you're writing a worship song and Satan's like, I wrote that song. And I say that to say there's so many spiritual ramifications, because music, the root word of music is muse. And that is like, what's your muse? What are you pondering? What are you thinking about? So whether you know it or not, it's a programming.
Also a pretty good band, Muse.
But it's a programming, right? Like it's what you're putting in your head. And I would listen to just depressing music.
And then be depressed.
And then find myself. And I literally had a friend in high school who was like, bro, you gotta stop listening to Kid Cudi, because like you're just gonna get sad, bro.
Right.
And I was like, nah, dude. Like 2 years later, I realized, like, man, I'm down bad. But there are a bunch of spiritual ties that come with making songs, because if you're writing, say, a sad song, even, you're almost reliving that experience. Like it's like trauma. Trauma is a repeated action of what you've experienced. And if you're just listening to certain music with a certain vibe or undertone, for me personally, I can say that it'll get me tapped into that emotional response and cycle. I don't know. I think you got to be really careful. That's just one of those things. Like with my daughter, I don't like certain songs like that she listens to or wants to listen to, because I'm like, but the lyrics are like bad. Like even like the Disney songs and stuff. Like I'm like, yeah, but the lyrics are bad. It's like talking about being evil, getting away with it. You know?
Right. Yeah. Even like you have in Disney movies, the villain song.
Yeah, and those are usually the most catchy for some reason.
Why is it that the worst songs are the catchiest?
They really are. To this day. When I came back to Christ, it was so hard to listen to like Christian music, because I was like, man, this is trash. Like I was thinking like, this is garbage.
I will say this, and I'm not going to call songs out by name, but it's like, even as a Christian, you know, I find things really comical. So when those really nasty, dirty songs, the Nicki Minaj and Cardi B songs come out, and you like, I found myself at a point listening to it because they were just funny. And then you need to realize you don't need to be doing that, even if you're not seriously listening to them.
Yeah.
Because you just listen to them for the shock value sometimes. And it's like, you don't need that in your life.
No. And I emphasize on the muse. Like it's programming. It is. Like right now, I still have the "Hold Me Now" stuck in my head. Like that's whatever you're having that loop in your head. Those words, I think it can be potentially dangerous.
Those earworms are going to really, get stuck in your head and going to really mess you up.
Yep. And I think in music, in regards of like when I write, even it's like it's like I'm writing a song. I've been told by many teachers, like, do you write poetry? I'm like, music, and they're like, it shows in your essay. You should like maybe try to stop. I'm like, that's how I think.
She really said you need to stop that.
A college professor told me I should really chill out. Creative writing. Yeah. I was like, I can't.
I ain't stopped. That's me.
Yeah. You can't stop me.
Yeah, so going to the made up of instruments, from what I could find online, people are talking about Ezekiel 28:13, but like the context.
Thanks for the fact check, by the way.
You're welcome.
We need to be more fact checked.
Yeah, no, I like that.
Yeah.
So I'll just read it.
Yeah, let's see what it's got.
So it says, "Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, take up a lamentation upon the king of Tyre, say unto him, Thus saith the Lord God, Thou sealest up the sum full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was thy covering, the sardius, topaz, and the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, and the jasper, the sapphire, and the emerald, and the carbuncle, the gold, and gold. The workmanship of thy timbrels and of thy flutes was prepared in thee in the day that thou wast created. Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth, and I have set thee so. Thou wast upon the holy mountain of God. Thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire, And it keeps going. So the idea is the true king of Tyre is Satan, is what they're getting at.
I didn't know you were going to hit me with the KJV.
Yeah, well, that's what I have in front of me. But
A carbuncle, by the way, is a deep red gemstone that is typically cut into a smooth, rounded shape and often a garnet.
Oh, so ruby.
yeah, but the idea is that he's not literally made of instruments. It's that his instruments are beautifully fashioned.
Okay.
And they kind of like are draped about him.
That's cool. I got to look into that. That was Ezekiel?
Yeah, Ezekiel 28 is the Ezekiel 28 verse 13. You got to really kind of read the whole thing in context. The idea is that Ezekiel is prophesying against Satan, the king of Tyre, is the way it's worded. That he was this at the beginning of creation. He was in Eden. He was in the presence of God, and he was beautiful, and he had the beautiful arrangements about him. And now, he is not in the presence of God. He is cast out, and there's judgment upon him. So, but you really have to keep reading to get that. So, but fact check.
Fact check. Approved. I like it. I fact check people in real time. So
I'm not too big on it, except when it comes to what does the Bible say?
Yeah.
Because we have to be very careful. And the only reason I do it is because those who will teach are held to a higher standard. And so if we're gonna produce information, we got to be very careful how we present it, because even though we're not teachers, someone may take this as a learning moment. And so we need to make sure that we're careful what we say, and we put that together, because there's been times where we've said stuff on here and we're like, we don't know if this is legit, and we don't have the information to present to you right now. So we have to make that statement whenever we say it. So that's the only reason I bring it up.
That's fine. It's good.
We want to make sure that we just say what the Bible says, and nothing more, nothing less.
100%.
110%.
100%. That's an inside joke.
It's kind of like my catchphrase on the podcast.
We did one episode. We just kept on saying 100% back and forth to each other.
I think that's the episode that got lost.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because I haven't heard it.
Yeah.
No, that's the episode we recorded.
Re-record.
We recorded it. We listened back to it and we're like, this is garbage.
Well, it's not that it was garbage. It was like, we can't put this out there because of...
It's going to sound... It's the episode where we talked about the haunted houses.
Yeah.
And I went into more of a deep review on each house I went to.
Yeah.
And it started sounding like I was deeply promoting and was really into it. And that wasn't the point.
Okay.
So we re-recorded it.
Okay.
Yeah. He was like... What did it end up being, like 3 hours long?
Sheesh.
No, it was not. It was that I talked way too long about the houses.
Yeah.
And then barely had any time to... Okay, we're moving on. All right, Tyler, this is your transition.
No, we're still talking about...
I'm joking.
No, but yeah, the episode ended up being pretty long and was very detailed about haunted houses, and the goal was to be like, hey, should we go on haunted houses?
Yeah.
We typically want our main point of the episode to be about 30, 40 minutes long.
Yeah.
It being like an hour 20.
Yeah.
It was really long.
It was a long time.
So if y'all ever want to listen to that,
maybe one day.
We'll sell it on the store on a flash drive.
We're not going to sell it.
No, I'm not. I'm joking. It's probably never going to see the light of day. If you want to hear the condensed version, go back to episode, I think it was 4, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it was. Yeah, episode 4. That's how we kicked off spooky season.
Yep.
And you know what? On that note, with selling stuff, we don't ever plan on selling things like to make money. Eventually, we will have a merch store.
Yeah.
Where you can buy podcast themed things, but all that money will go towards the ministry of Saints That Serve. So either it will be donated to a partner who's doing full-time ministry, or it'll go to equipment.
A lot of times in those stores, you can essentially set the price. So you upload your designs and then they create it. They have their cost to make the shirt that they charge.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times they have the margin for the person selling the merch, the designer, whatever. And then that's why a lot of times those shirts cost so much.
Yeah.
I'd say we just mark down our margin of profit margin to 0.
Yeah.
So people can get merch, but we don't profit from merch.
Yeah.
Because I'd love to see merch out there, but
Yeah.
I don't need anything in my pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll let you guys know. We're not there yet.
Yeah. That'll be on episode 20 when we have merch.
Okay. Well, now we've officially decided.
Oh, man.
10 weeks, guys. 10 weeks we'll have merch. No.
Yep. Anyways. Okay. So yeah, spiritual principalities. I like what you talked about with, intaking substance to get creative,
Mhm.
right? Because when we get into the zone,
Mhm.
writing worship to the Lord and putting it in music form, you can really feel the Holy Spirit present.
Yes.
And you're in that zone.
And it's hard to get
Right.
there. You have to be very intentional to get there.
Yeah. So the Holy Spirit comes upon you, and you pour your heart out to God on on your page, right? And so I think that it is obvious, like the enemy wants to have a counterfeit of that so that he can distract people from getting the authentic, get into the presence of the Lord and watch how he will just naturally pull worship out of you, and you will just naturally be in awe of him, and it'll just spew out.
Mhm.
So, but in order to get to that point, you've got to be in communion with God,
Yes.
right? And that's the biggest stumbling block for us today in the American church is we have to fight for communion with God because we've got little universes at the palm of our hand that can teleport us anywhere we want to go. And we can get distracted by this, that, and the moment a thought comes into our mind, we type it in on our phone and we're looking it up and seeing what it's about. So we get super distracted really quick and our attention span is very short and it goes boom, 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 boom from one thing to the next, one thing next, one thing next. And so like setting it all aside and saying, I just need to be in the presence of God takes a very large, intentional, like motivated move, I guess is the way to say it.
Yeah.
So it's like we got to turn our phones off. We got to turn the TV off, shut all the music that's playing in the background off, close our computers, sit in a room, declare the authority of Jesus Christ over us, and just be in the presence of God and say, God, I am here in your presence. Impart to me what you will, and just be willing to sit in silence. Sometimes God wants us to just sit in silence so that we can learn that, hey, even when it's totally quiet, my presence is still there. That's a hard lesson for people that can't stand silence. Like I can't do quiet. If it's quiet, my mind goes where I don't like it to go. So I need to, I'm
I
not
like
saying-
silence. I just can't stand sitting still. That's
Yeah.
Mm.
like, this even is hard.
Yeah. Just being in one spot,
Fidget, yeah.
it can be difficult, but God sometimes will, as a refining of our spirits, he will take us to those places of, you need to sit in silence because you need to understand that even if you don't hear anything, you need to know that my presence is still real and it's still there with you.
Mhm.
And sometimes we'll sit down and we'll get 30 seconds in and then God will just boom. And you're just like, God. So yeah, it's different for everybody, but the importance is you need to be willing to set everything aside so that you can just focus on God,
Mhm.
right? It's kind of like dating. You need to be willing to clear your schedule so that you can intentionally spend time with this significant other because you want to express, hey, I like you enough to put my life on hold to spend 2 hours with you
Mhm.
and do, whatever with you. So when it comes to our relationship with God, not saying that we're dating Jesus, because I'm not saying that. We do not date Jesus.
Mhm.
He's not our boyfriend. So all you people out there that say that, just open your Bible and start reading. But the premise is still there. You have to set your life aside and put it on hold to be intentional with God. You cannot just squeeze God in for a 5-minute conference in between your other phone calls.
Mhm.
Okay. This is not your occupation. This is your life. Your life is in Christ. Paul talks about that. To live is Christ.
Mhm.
To die is gain. the idea there is while we're on this earth, this fallen earth in this fallen form, and our struggle is with sin, we are living for Christ. I want to be in regular communion with God. I want to know his word. I want to know what the Holy Spirit's doing. I want to be wearing the armor of God. I want to be going where the Lord's leading me to go. I want to be making disciples for Jesus. I want to make my life revolving around God. And if I die in this fallen form, I'll have gained what I've been working towards, which is presence with the eternal God in an eternal form. Because God says that, we are spiritual beings with a physical form.
Mm-hmm.
And that physical form will be restored on one day.
Mm-hmm.
But our eternity is in our spirit. We are spiritual beings. So, we got to be intentional as Christians. And that's where we need to come against this idea of strongholds in the music industry.
Mm-hmm.
Because even Christian artists are susceptible to this.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to, in order to be relevant, you've got to give a certain amount to the world in order to be relevant, because the world dictates your relevance. And that's just not true. God does whatever he wants to do for his glory. So as a Christian, we need to get this idea out of our heads of, I've got to be relevant to make a difference, because God will make the difference.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to be a vessel willing to be used,
Mm-hmm.
right? And be okay with whatever he decides to do with you.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kicker, is I want to make a difference for God. And in our minds, we're all automatically like, I need to sell out shows.
I got to do what I want to do to represent God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to have a big record that hits, and it hits the top 10. I sell out shows across the country. I become buddies with other really famous people solely because of my career, so that I can share the gospel with them. Like we create all these things that are standards that have to be met in order to be relevant, to be able to be a good Christian artist.
The other part of that too is you said it there within what you were giving that example. You kept saying, I this, I that, I want this, I want that.
Yeah.
It's not about you.
Exactly. As a Christian who loves music and loves to write and sing and play music, are you okay if God sets it to where your entire musical career, your influence is focused on one person, and that's all God wants from you? Are you okay with that?
It's funny you say that, because I had a conversation with my mom once about making music, and I was like, Mom, I feel like it was a particular time I had just written a song. It was amazing. I think it's a song I sent you. And I just felt the Lord's presence there. I was like in the zone. I was like, Mom, like if I start dropping music, like I think people would actually like to listen to this. Like it would be a good earworm, And she was like, well, maybe you're. And I started getting into my worries about it. Like, I don't want to have to deal with this and that, though. I was going up and down. She was like, well, maybe you're just supposed to make music for a few people to hear.
Yeah.
And I noticed when she said that, it like kind of irked me a little bit. And I was like, why? I was like, why? But then I sat in a thought and I was like, yeah, like, what if I'm only supposed to make music for a few individuals to hear?
Yeah.
And maybe they're the ones God wants to use to bring it to masses, or maybe they're just going to hear it and receive salvation from it, right?
Yeah.
And so I've actually had that thought process, and I think that's a lot what slowed me down, because I'm not chasing this like fame or recognition that I used to chase years ago.
Yeah.
I was like, I constantly needed validation and like praise.
Yeah.
And now it's, I feel like I should make a song right now. I feel the Lord. I'm going to go read a little bit of the Bible, get some more verbal inspiration. And I'm going to write a song. It's more organic. Whereas before it was like, well, I got to use like a phrase that everybody's using, that everybody knows. What's something that I don't have any social media. I'm not cool. I'm not with it. And so I'd be like, man, I don't know anything to like get it catching. I don't know any of the popular trends right now. And it would get in my head. Now I'm like, I don't care. Like it's about me and the Lord right now. And if people hear it. And I want them to, of course. You create or make something, you want people to enjoy it. But there's a certain level of, like you said, is it for the Lord, first of all?
Yeah.
And second of all, what if it's just for one person?
Yeah.
Would you do it for one person?
Yeah. And if we can get into that mindset of, Lord, it's all for your glory, we'll start operating in all areas of our life. So it's like, I'm cleaning the kitchen. Lord, is it for your glory? Because if it's for God's glory, we're not going to be thinking in a negative attitude of, oh, I've got to clean the kitchen. We're going to be thinking about me cleaning the kitchen makes life easier on my spouse. It sets the positive role model example for my children. It sets an example to the people outside. Hey, I have duties as a homeowner to take care of what I have. And I do it with a positive attitude because I know I'm blessed. I know that I have a house with a kitchen that gets dirty. So I'm going to be grateful that I have that I can clean that, because there are so many people that don't even have that in the world. So I consider my kitchen a blessing, and I'm going to take care of it because God's blessed me with it. If he sees fit to take it away from me, I'm still going to rejoice that he's God. But for right now, he has blessed me with a kitchen, and I'm going to clean it because I'm grateful for the blessing, and it's all for his glory. Because he gave it to me, he can just as easily take it away. So while it's in my keeping, I'm going to be a godly steward of it. So, when you get into the little things, then it starts to pour out into the big stuff, or the big stuff. I'm doing air quotes for people who can't see, because you can't see because we're not recording a live stream right now. But that's the idea, is that take the little mundane things that you're doing in your life and look at them as gifts from the Lord. And if they're a gift from the Lord, then it is a call to stewardship over those things, right? Because we all want to say, like, in order for me to be a famous artist, I've got to hit that banger that just everyone wants to listen to, and it skyrockets in the charts, right? But what if God doesn't want you to focus on that? What if God wants you to focus on, I need to write music that brings glory to the Lord's name, so that and this is hitting your heart right now, so that my child feels the presence of God when they're around me.
That's exactly what I do.
See,
That's my
it
thought
changes. I'm not writing music to become famous so I have a voice for the people to hear. I'm writing music so that the people in my circle feel the presence of God. And now my multiplication is coming from simply what God has blessed me with, my kids, rather than, I need to get to that point. We go to the parable of the servants and the talents. The landlord or the owner gives out 5 talents, 2 talents, and 1 talent. The first 2 servants double what they were given.
Yeah.
And the last one hides away what he was given. And so we take that example of the first 2, their sole focus was to be a good steward of what they were given, so that their Lord would further in glory. That was their concern. And the outcome of that was more was given to them because they could be trusted with what they were given. The third was, it says that he was wicked because he hid what he was given. And it was because of his fear of the Lord. He's like, I held on to what you gave me, and because you are a shrewd Lord, and I did not want to waste or lose what you had given me. And so the Lord calls him a wicked servant.
It's crazy.
He takes away his talent and gives it to the guy that had 5 originally. So taking that in mindset of God wants you to be faithful with what he gives you, right? So we need to identify what he's given us. Let's just be faithful with that. Let's just focus on that. And if he takes you further, he takes you further. But the mentality is what's important, right? God tells, through Samuel, tells Saul, I desire a humble and contrite heart over sacrifice, right? The smell of sacrificed bulls and rams are less important than just an obedient, humble heart. So that's the number one way we can combat these strongholds in the music industry, is what I believe. I don't know. You guys can chime in if you have anything else to add to it. But my belief is being faithful with what God's given us. And if he decides to take us further with music, he takes us further. If he decides to keep us in our niche, it's for his glory anyways. So let's bring glory to him in that way.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, related to that, I had that mindset with the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, man, I want to reach out and see those numbers on the app, on our stats, like go up. Oh, this many people, they saw what we did.
Yep.
But what it really came down to is our numbers, I'm not going to call them low, but they're not what I hoped for, I guess.
Yeah.
But the thing is we need to focus within, instead of that high number, the people that are in that low number.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we've got about, I would say, 10 regulars that are consistently listening to every single episode. And so those 10 people, you guys are the ones that we're after. Like, we just want to make sure that we present great content that you enjoy, because you're making the effort to come back every week. So we want to be good stewards of your time and create content that you enjoy. So, and because I agree with you, the mindset was like, okay, we got to get 500 downloads in the first 2 months to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
but we're not even trying to be successful.
Exactly.
We're just trying to reach people.
Exactly.
And we have people we're reaching.
We are reaching people. And the goal was, and we said it at the beginning, our goal was just to create Christian content for people to enjoy. That's all we want, because there's communities out there that are into gaming, they're into movies, they're into music. And most of the podcasts that are focused on that kind of stuff are not Christian.
No.
And if the people are Christian, they're not approaching it with a kingdom mindset. So we want to do that. We want to just have a fun time, but we want to make sure we bring it back to Christ. Mm-hmm. And like we said, can I make this about God? And if I cannot make it about God, I need to get it out of my life.
Mm-hmm.
So we always want to bring it back around to that every episode of, whatever we're talking about. I mean, we did the review last week with the video game, Throne and Liberty. And in that, playing that game, we get to build our camaraderie and fellowship. Mm-hmm. We have a fun time together, and we grow our relationships when we're playing the game. If it was just Jairus playing the game, or it was just me playing the game, and we did not want to play with other people, we just wanted to try and unlock everything, complete every task, so that we can say that we're really good at the game. Mm-hmm. It's like, wow, I can't really make it about God then.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's the idea. It's coming back around to that. Like, how can we just make everything that we're doing about bringing glory to the Lord? So if you can figure out how to do that, great.
That's probably like one of the biggest areas of my life too, what I'm trying to figure out how to do. I like how you use the cleaning the kitchen idea, because I can't stand washing dishes. Especially when I get like a soggy piece of food on my fingers, I get squeamish. But anyway, finding all those areas, like those little tiny areas of my life, like my room is perpetually in a state of disarray.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it weighs on me. Like, it actually makes me, I have to fight shame, right? Because there is no condemnation in Christ, right? But I look at my room and I'm like, why is it so difficult to put this together? And I'll talk to the Lord about it. Like, God, like, I know, like, I'd like to have my own place. I live with my mom. I'd like to have my own place.
Yeah.
I'd like to not share a room with my 8-year-old child, but I'm grateful that I have it. But I'm like, why can't I seem to keep it in a shape that is clean, orderly? And I'm like, God, like, what am I missing? What stronghold is here? What am I missing? Aliens. Exactly. But there's all these elements that I try to weigh and counterweigh. And it's so difficult at times to allow Christ to just flood all those little areas of your life.
Yeah.
It can be difficult, because for me personally, I can say that, like, the larger areas where relationships, habits, most habits, cleaned up. Yeah. I can confidently say, like, there is no shame, there's no guilt, right? But when it comes to these, like, quote, little things, like Jordan Peterson says, you got to clean your room.
Oh,
and I'm like, no,
Jordan,
I can't do it, dude. I can't do it. Your room is the status of your mind.
I will say, and that hits home really well when talking about cleaning the kitchen, as well, as if you can't find a reason for you to want to do this for yourself, you could do it and it makes somebody else happy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Same
solid.
Kitchen, room, whatever. You know, I could be cleaning the kitchen because it makes my wife happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And if you,
Finding that positive aspect to a negative that you personally don't want to be doing.
and it comes back around to that, is the kitchen has to get cleaned. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. It cannot sit there, and if it sits there, it's going to get it's a situation that will get worse.
Mm-hmm.
It does not just stay here.
Yeah.
It either gets better or it gets worse. And so you take that, if you're married or you got kids, you take that and you say, listen, someone's got to clean this. If it's not me, then I'm pushing it off on somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And they're doing it. So if I do it, then they get to experience a little bit of love, because I'm taking an area in our lives that we share that has to be addressed and it has to be taken care of. And I'm willingly doing it with joy. So I get to show a little bit of love to them. And if you're married and you got a wife, it shows a lot of love, because they're like, wow, normally this would be on me. Psychologically, in my mind, this is for the ladies, psychologically, I have to clean the kitchen. It has to be clean because it freaks me out if it's not.
Mm.
So if a man comes in and cleans the kitchen without being asked and he just does it, it's wow, this guy loves me because he's willing to take on some of my responsibilities solely for the purpose of just to take care of it. If you have kids and they regularly see you cleaning a space, you're projecting without using words, hey, we have this, it needs to be taken care of, and I'm going to take care of it because it's my job.
Mm-hmm.
And as they grow up, they may not be the cleanest of kids, but as they get older, you ingrain that into them over time of saying, hey, we got to clean the kitchen, or I got to clean the kitchen, or the kitchen needs to get cleaned before we do this, because it has to be cleaned. It's only going to get worse. It's not going to get better unless we do something, and it's not going to stay here. And then we can take that principle, we can take that lesson, and we can apply it to everything in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
This situation is going to get worse unless we do something about it. It's not going to stay in this middle ground, and it's not going to get better on its own. It involves commitment.
Most things don't, it seems. They only get worse.
That's okay, though. As long as we do it all for just kidding, for Jesus.
Transition.
All right.
So yeah, music, guys, right?
Music, am I right?
Yeah.
Talking about kitchens instead of music, but
Yeah.
no, but I think just having that mindset, rather than trying to build yourself up, build up your own kingdom to get to a certain status so that you can be taken seriously, focus on what God has given you and do it not to become rich and famous. Do it solely so that God is being glorified, because God wants your worship, and he prefers it in private because it can be more raw and vulnerable. But he also wants us to do it in public to show, hey, I'm devoted to God. I don't care what you think. Right. And our focus is just on bringing glory to his name. It's not on becoming big, because now we get to see there's a lot of famous people out there, and the ones that are current right now, look at their lives falling apart. There's several of them that, like, you watch interviews with them, or you see them talking about something, and they just seem broken, but they shouldn't be, because they're the 1%. They're broken. And then let's take artists from the past who were at the top of the game. Where are they now?
Yeah.
You know, these are kingdoms that fall. It's inevitable. It's not that they are enshrined forever. People can make the argument, but I guarantee you, if you went out and asked, 10 different, is it Alpha now? The newest generation, Gen Alpha?
I guess so. Yeah.
Whatever the youngest generation that's out there. If you ask 10 of them, do you know who Elvis Presley is?
Dang.
Do you think they'd all know? There might be one or two that know about Elvis Presley because it's been passed through the generations. But Elvis Presley was like one of the top guys in the 60s and 50s. And now he's gone. He died in the 70s, I think.
That is something I eventually want us to talk about.
What? Elvis Presley, did he die?
There is a guy for our cryptid corner whenever we get to it, or just conspiracy corner or whatever.
Yeah.
There is a conspiracy out there that this guy, this pastor at this church, looks and sounds and sings just like Elvis. So people are saying that this man is actually, Elvis didn't die, and he just, because he got so famous that he's like, I got to get away from all of it. So he fakes his death. And it's this guy.
Oh, man.
There's been several of those where it's like, this guy looks a lot like Elvis. And it's like, maybe he didn't die. But anyways, yeah, we definitely could get into that. I'm okay with that.
And the other part of that, we'll get into it later. That's fine. The next week, Conspiracy Corner.
Elvis Presley.
Where
is he today?
Probably at his gravesite, but
I thought he was on the moon.
He's in Vegas.
Did we go to the moon?
Hello there.
There's Elvis on the moon.
Elvis on the moon right there. All right. So, Tyler, we're going to transition to our final thing, which is our Cryptid Conspiracy Corner.
Yeah.
Cryptid Conspiracy Corner.
There we go. We keep adding names to it. It's Cryptid Conspiracy Corner.
We're going to keep on going and adding things to it. So I guess I can use this soundbite for it just to show we're moving into it. Bigfoot. For those who didn't understand what the guy said, he said Bigfoot.
Is that our Cryptid Conspiracy Corner theme song?
Yeah, we'll make that our Cryptid Conspiracy theme song. When we did episode 1, we really should have started with Bigfoot because that's like the gateway
It is.
into cryptids.
But you really want to talk about a goat
I
man.
really wanted to talk about the goat man. So, all right. So we were talking about music this week, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So our creature this week, I'll give you one guess what you think it is.
I know what it is.
You know what it is? What do you think it is?
I have zero clue.
Okay, think about
music and now think about mythological creatures.
Yep. Nope.
Okay.
Oh, it's mermaids.
The sirens.
The sirens.
Okay, I was right.
When'd you say it?
Just say it.
Yeah, I said it in my head.
Yeah, say it out loud.
Say it
But
out
I wasn't
loud.
confident that I knew what sirens were.
Always
I know
be
they are
confident.
now.
Hey,
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah, that's true.
Abraham Lincoln taught me that.
Yeah. What?
dude, you're actually acting like Janelle because
Yeah.
when she was in here,
That's true.
she would have said a lot of things right if she had just said them.
Very true.
So the moral of the story is
Just
when
speak.
you're on this podcast, just talk.
All right, sirens.
Oh wow, yeah, I got it. It's
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
mermaids.
And now,
What's the
our
difference?
Feature presentation.
There's not a difference.
There's not.
Sirens is from specifically the Greek,
The Greek,
mythology of the Odyssey. They were called sirens because they lured men in with their music,
Yeah.
but lured them into their death.
Yeah.
So there's different historical accounts of mer people. So I think the oldest account is Assyrian.
Mm-hmm. I got into that a lot when I was a kid. Are mermaids real?
Oh, I thought you were talking
then
about
you're-
Assyria.
Then you're
really got into Assyria when I was little.
Yeah, no.
Ask me anything.
Yeah.
No, so Syria, Greek mythology. This is where I found interesting. Apparently, Christopher Columbus has sightings of mermaids. Allegedly. I don't know if that's true. But it says as he sails near the Dominican Republic in 1493, Columbus spots 3 mermaids, which he describes as not as beautiful as they are painted.
Yeah. She's mid.
But was it mermaids or was it manatees? So that's kind of the argument they're making there. Did he see mermaids?
Manatees over there?
Manatees are in the Atlantic.
They are?
Yeah, they're not like in the middle of the Atlantic
No,
Ocean,
no.
but they are kind of around Florida. And I guess there is a population in the Dominican Republic. Maybe.
Yeah, I just never heard of the DR having them.
Well, I think that whoever wrote this article was like, he didn't actually see mermaids. He saw manatees.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Barbara manatee.
Yeah. But they're seen all over the world. We got accounts in Britain, South Korea. What else? I know in Africa, off the coast of Africa, they've seen them there. But so mermaids are, traditionally it's lower half fish, upper half human body,
Mhm.
right? We all have seen The Little Mermaid,
Mm-hmm.
which is more northwestern Europe, like the Germanic, like Sweden, Finland, all those areas, I think is where that story is based.
Are the sightings always female?
No, not always. But typically, typically it's a female-ish creature. So, we've got this. There are people that allegedly within the last 40 to 50 years have seen these creatures, and they've taken pictures or taken videos. I know there's a popular video that goes around on Reels and TikTok. And it's a guy on a boat, on a vessel. I think it's a fishing vessel.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like today, like 2023, 2024.
I think I've seen it.
He's hearing the siren call and he's recording it.
Yeah.
And so he's like shouting out like, "Hey, who's out there? I hear you." It's like, so it could be edited in, maybe. He takes some videos of something swimming alongside the boat, and this is at night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen it.
So
Mermaids.
it could be mermaids. The Bible brings up a deity that fits the description for mer people. So the Philistines worshipped a god called Dagon. All right, so Dagon is depicted as a half fish, half human. And if you go to 1 Samuel, it's chapter 5. So 1 Samuel chapter 5, verses 1 through about, I think it's 12. It talks about the Ark of God, Ark of the Covenant, being put in the temple before Dagon. This is after the Philistines have defeated Israel. They've captured the Ark as a victory trophy. They've brought it back to their city. They've put it in the temple in front of Dagon. Night one passes. They come back. Dagon's on his face before the statue of Dagon is on his face before the Ark of the Covenant. So they put it back up, whatever. Night two goes around. They come back in. Dagon's separated, split in half on the ground again before the Ark of the Covenant. And then after that is when all the crazy stuff happens. Like people start getting sick and have sores, tumors and all that crazy stuff. So, but the interesting thing is the second night around, when the idol of Dagon falls down, is broken in half, it separates the fish and the man part.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we could get into the conspiratorial, people like to go down the Nephilim route. And with that, it's like, that's the only term we have, Nephilim. People like to use it as the offspring of angels breeding with humans. So they just slap Nephilim on there. Really, the word Nephilim is just Hebrew for giant. But the term's used today for a variety of things. So one of those things is these hybrids, if you want to call it that, of different things mixed together.
So gas and electric.
Yeah. Gas and electric. But, like people allegedly, the dog man, that's an offspring of this unholy union or genetic modification between angelic entities and humans.
Yeah.
Right. Same people throw Bigfoot in there. Like the people in the hyper spiritual world that are like everything of the unknown and the cryptid world is demonic. And it's because of the Nephilim. That's where they come from. So you could put that in there. Dagon is a depiction of a deity that they worship, but they worship it because Dagon was a mer person who had this power. And because the Philistines were seafaring people, that's why they worship.
So it was a Nephilim, quote unquote Nephilim.
Yeah. So you could throw the idea out that mer people are real. And they are the abomination of the offspring between the unholy matrimony of humans and angelic entities.
Yeah.
And people like to throw things in there like, when we talk about aliens, like the Greys and stuff, like, are they unholy offspring, or are they just I heard this used the other day, are they just an avatar for the Nephilim spirits? So, it's something you could look at and say, maybe. Or maybe, they're just like the gorillas of the sea. Like they're kind of apish, but they got the lower half of a fish. So they're kind of, humanistic in a sense because they got arms and kind of a head and a torso that looks human-like, but they are an aquatic creature.
But the reality is it's just manatees.
But they are actually just manatees.
Yeah.
No, I've seen some pretty convincing videos that you're like, well, maybe.
That is one good-looking manatee.
I get caught in crazy rabbit trails, man.
That is an ugly woman, but
A really cute
a really
mermaid.
cute manatee. Dude, that's a video right there.
Yeah.
Just a mer person washed up. That is one ugly woman. But pretty good looking manatee. Has to be like that really old, grungy, like seafaring man with the white beard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, got the
leathery face.
So like the
Scars on his
yellow coat. He's got like a trident, and not a trident, a spear.
Yeah, a harpoon.
Mhm.
He's wearing the yellow, like the old painting of a
A
seaman.
cob, a corn cob pipe sticking out of his mouth.
Yep. Yep.
That is one ugly.
He's missing his pinky.
Yeah.
You want to know how I lost this pinky?
I mean, but as far as manatees go,
That might be my future wife.
that's a pretty manatee.
Crazy.
Yeah, so that's pretty much all I got for the cryptids is that it's just mermaids. Are they real? And are they demonic?
Well, if
According to the Bible, they are.
they would have to be, because why would they lure you in just to kill you? They'd have to just want to destroy you.
Well, according to the Pirates of the Caribbean, it's ambiguous whether the guy actually died or not. We don't know.
But what would the beef be if they're not? Like, what would the beef be?
What the dog do?
What the dog do?
No, that's the point is, and that's the thing is like the stories, they're all coming from these guys that are sailors that are out in the ocean,
Mhm.
out in the elements. They run across these things and they're like, don't go near it because it'll lead to your death. And so it's like, if they are demonic, if they are of this subset of species that have 100% to do with spirits that are in opposition of God and his order and his creation, then of course their minds are going to be set on destruction,
Yeah.
right? Because we look at it, we're created in God's image, right? And God has called us to be good stewards over the earth and have dominion over it. So if these spiritual beings who have denied God and his authority and are in opposition against him, even though they're still under his authority,
Mhm.
they're trying to be against him. If they have the ability to distort things
They will.
and have offspring because of it, then they're going to make their offspring in opposition to God's order. So, so that's kind of the train of thought with it. But it's all alleged because, dude, we don't know if there's mer people.
Man, we're going to get to heaven and God's going to be like, yep, demonic.
It was even more wild, right?
Hmm.
When we get to heaven, we're probably not going to get our answers because then we are not going to we'll no longer know and see the things of earth.
No, I think we'll still know the things of earth. I don't think that we're going to have I don't think it's going to be a Men in Black memory wipe.
I think, know the things of earth would be sinful and heaven is sinless.
Well, okay, but here's the thing. There's nowhere in the Bible that says that we will forget all of our sin. The Bible makes it clear that we are forgiven of all sin. It does not say that, like, when we get into the presence of God, we'll forget what sin even was.
We'll probably praise him more for being there and knowing our sin.
I think that we will overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony.
Yeah.
We have to take that and run with it of saying, like, hey, we're in heaven in the presence of God and we worship him and we know what we've overcome. And we are no longer affected by it because we've overcome it. That doesn't necessarily mean we've forgotten all about it.
Okay.
So I think that we'll still know what sin was.
Mhm.
It's just it will have no effect over us anymore because we've conquered it through Christ.
You can get glimpses of that on earth even. I know I have. There's some things like some sin in the past I can openly talk about. Yeah, I struggled with this. Yeah, I went through that.
Yeah.
And there's very little like shame, condemnation. That's just like, yeah, I can acknowledge that happened, but look what's grown out of that.
Yeah.
So you get glimpses of like heaven on earth. You get glimpses of it, but I think, yeah, I don't see why we'd forget. I don't know. I understand your point though.
There's no sin in the presence of God because God is perfect and holy, and anything that is sin would come into judgment and wrath. That's why Christ had to become sin for us on the cross. He had to become sin and a curse in order to take on God's judgment and wrath for us.
Mhm.
And Christ says that he did that. He died on the cross. He was buried in the grave. He rose on the third day, overcoming sin, death, and the grave. But the knowledge of sin is still there. We know what it is. And that's the beauty of being a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
When we believe, we become believers. Now we know what sin is.
Mm-hmm.
Paul talks about it. You didn't know when you were a sinner and you were in sin. You didn't know there was righteousness. You didn't know the good of God because all you knew is what you were in. The moment the light of Christ shines in your life, you're confronted with the reality of righteousness and goodness.
Mm-hmm.
And then here we go. Now you have to confess that you do believe Jesus is who he is. You have to believe God is real, and you have to accept that forgiveness that only comes through Christ. And so that's the idea, is that because of God, now we know what sin is. Because of Jesus, now we know that sin is bad and God is good. And so that's why I think that when we're in God's presence, we know what sin is. It's just, it will be absent in God's presence.
Okay.
The actual action, right? Because sin is the action, right? That will no longer exist. But we know, like, hey, disobedience to God is wrong. Okay? Disobedience to God by taking his laws and doing the opposite of those, we know that's wrong. And we don't want to have anything to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the problem with the garden. That was why it was the original sin. Adam and Eve knew it was wrong. But because of the deception and the lure of, well, we could be like God, they went ahead and did it anyways. So that's where we come around to this. Now that's why we're born into sin, is that we are going to do what we want to do. We're going to make it about us, and we're going to be very selfish and very focused and make ourselves our idols and worship ourselves, and put things in our lives as idols so that we can worship them, so that we can pour out this ingrained in our DNA thing that we need to worship. So we're going to put things up to worship. And then the light of Christ shines in and says, hey, you were created in the image of God to worship God by living your life as a steward over his creation and lifting up the accomplishments unto him and praising his name. So that's what you were created to do, but you're living in the counterfeit.
Mm-hmm.
So, accepting Christ as our Savior is the steps towards getting back to that true identity of a creature that has the identity of God or the image of God, that worships God through its service to God on earth by being a good steward of his creation. But the knowledge of sins is there because, like I said, like in the garden, they knew that it was wrong to eat the fruit because God told them not to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But they did it. And the point is they chose to do it. So, that's my thoughts on that. So I think that we will know what sin is. We just will have nothing to do with it. And if mermaids are, because of the fall, we're going to AK-47 them.
Yes, sir.
We're going to get guns up in heaven. And we're going to shoot down from above. Like, pow, pow, got him.
Oh, man.
We're going to do helicopter hog hunting. Just
You're going to get your 5.56.
We're going to be cloud scale shooting.
Man, the hog hunting from copters is nasty.
Yeah, dude. Just talk about like decimation.
Man.
They have the pigs have
They have no clue.
No reason to be doing it that way.
They got night vision and
Well, you know why it
ARs.
started? Is the feral hog issue in Oklahoma and Texas
Oh, so they're not doing it
became
for food.
so bad that there is no regulation. It's like you can kill as many pigs as you can because the population is way over what it should be. So now it's at the point where there's ranches that are set up like, hey, you come, you pay us like $3,000 to $5,000. You get to hop in a helicopter with like 5 full magazines, and we're going to fly around with night vision, and we're going to swoop down to scare them up. And then we're just going to follow them, and you're just going to shoot them with your whatever gun.
Yeah.
Because if you do not, they will continue to decimate all the agriculture and the woodlands to where nothing else can live there because the population is so big.
I'd do it personally. I would definitely do it.
I think so too.
Yeah.
So Dylan,
Yeah.
you got any? What is anywhere anybody can go to listen to your music?
Not yet, but it will be January is going to be the official rollout.
Okay.
So I'm working on making an X and an Instagram, and then everything will be on Spotify, Apple Music.
All right, cool. So let us know, and wow. So let us know, and we will shout you out again when all that stuff's out there.
Will do. I'm super excited.
Yeah.
Super excited.
Awesome. Well, that's pretty much all we got. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to us and let us know what your favorite Thanksgiving tradition is. And if you got any thoughts for things we should do for Christmas, let us know.
I think we should do an episode of the podcast.
What?
Like we always do.
Wait, what? Anyways, if you want to reach out to us, you can reach out to us at thesaintsthatserve@gmail.com or through any of our social media. You can go to our website at thesaintsthatservepod.com, and all of our stuff's there. So that's all we got. I'm Johnny.
I'm Jairus.
And this was Dylan.
And we are the Saints That Serve.
Oh, shoot, we're recording.
And we can just do funny things like, that.
That shouldn't be funny.
But it is.
But it is.